Hello, yes, everybody. Yeah, so I kind of wondered, I was thinking maybe I would like to do, since this year is almost over and not gonna be that many fights, well, not really important ones for the rest of it. So, I was thinking about, making some sort of a yearly review, an annual review of the boxing year 2021. Yeah, well, of course, this year it started pretty, boring because there was not so much going on. Simply, yeah, there was not so much going on in boxing because of the COVID and all that lockdown and yeah, pandemic. So, just gonna take a look here at the most important fights of this year. Just a second. Yeah, because I remember the first one that I can remember is Lilian White versus Alexander Povetkin 2. Yeah, so let's see. And that was in late March, of course. Yeah. And of course, yeah, it happened pretty much like I would have expected. White got his revenge. Yeah, alright, so we had Caleb Plant versus Trucks on January the 30th. I've kind of seen it. I mean, I've seen some of it, the highlights and all that. And yeah, then we had well, nothing major in February. I'm just gonna, I just want to talk about really the best fights, not some other decent fights who are and important fights, of course, not just between some two unknowns. Benavides versus Alice, that was in March. Yeah, that's right. That was a good fight. That's all I can say. They actually did not list. Well, this is a very American-centered site. I don't like that. They did not list the White versus Povetkin 2 fight. What's going on here? Come on, fucking. And yeah, so that was a little bit. Anyway, I don't know really what to say about it. That was simply a sign that Povetkin, maybe you might say, got lucky the first time, or simply landed a big punch that he needed. And since he was at that stage where he was so old, 42, or yeah, I think he was 42. Yeah, or no, 41. Anyway, yeah, he's definitely done for as a serious boxer anyway. And yeah, after that we had, yeah, that's right, we had a Jermel Charlo fight. Um, just a minute, I have to go back to this same site. Damn it! No, actually, that was yeah, Reeves versus Andy Reeves versus Chris Ariola. That was a fight that many expected Reeves to win by a knockout, but he actually got knocked down He had to really fight hard, to get a decision win, which was, not so, yeah, it was not so easy to predict that kind of result. Nordin Bali versus Nonito Donaire. I did see that fight. And Donaire was simply, did what he does best. He caught Bali with a big punch and stopped him. Nothing more to say. Donaire has simply, this year was very good for him. Last year, not so much. Or one before, because he looked on the way out. He looked as like a finished fighter, as a serious fighter. But then first he had that fight against Inoue where he was surprisingly good, put up such a great fight, and then now he stopped this guy. Uh, First Ubali, yeah, that's right. Just a second. Just gonna look at his record. Motherfucker. I hate being disorganized. Yeah, now yeah. This month, the 11th, he knocked out Raymond Galbayo, which was also another also in 4 rounds. Yeah. Yeah, the Inoue fight was actually November 2019. Yeah, that's right. 2019. I actually don't like how people say 2019, 2020. I don't like. That's the modern way of talking. But anyway, um, yeah, but I don't know at 39 he's bound. I don't know how much he can do. I mean, Donaire is, or Donaire. He is, I think he will lose to any kind of really top fighter in his division. Yeah. Alright, then, what else? Oh, yeah, that great fight on June 26th, we had Gervonta Davis versus Mario Barrios. And yeah, Barrios was he put up hell of a fight. And but still it wasn't enough, of course. Gervonta Davis was at in his own element, simply. And yeah, that's all. That's all she wrote, man. And of course, if we look at Canelo Alvarez, he also had that Billy Joe Saunders fight. Yeah, that's right. On the 8th of May, the 8th. Well, that was, one of the. He hasn't had such a tough fight, technically, in a while, I would say. Definitely not. Well, at least since the Koale or the Jacobs fight. It's a little bit hard to say, but anyway. And I thought Saunders did pretty well, but in the end, he just, got hit on the wrong place, and I had to give it up, and got injured. Yeah, that's right. And Charles versus Montiel. Jamal, well, I didn't really, Jamal Charles definitely hasn't really impressed this year or even the last. He definitely needs a big fight in the next year to really, solidify, to cement his position as one of the, kings of the middleweight division. I hope he will fight somebody like either, um, Andrade maybe, or who else is out there? Well, the winner of this Ryota Murata and Golovkin fight. Yeah, I think I would like to see him fight Murata, actually. If he wins, of course. This I think he will most likely the Golovkin fight. Yeah, and well, I'm not gonna, just talk about each and every fight here, but while we are on the Canelo subject, I can mention, yeah, his fight with Plant, which was also pretty good. Um, but yeah, I mean, he simply wore Plant down. Plant did win a few rounds and landed some good punches, but in the end, he just tired and then was taken out simply in the 11th round. So I hope Plant can bounce back next year. Yeah, I think he can. If he is managed, right, and if he, gets the right fights and all that, and fights at his right weight, he also maybe, headed up. I don't know, maybe not, but maybe he will be eventually, headed up to 175, maybe. All right, and then we had the big, well, not a big upset, but an upset in August. Manny Pacquiao lost versus Jordanis Ugas, and then he retired, of course. And that was, well, not so expected anyway. It wasn't a total shock, but because Manny is the age that he is now 43, he was 42 back then. And Ugas simply, yeah, shut him out most of the fight and was simply the better man, technically, and stronger man, of course, the bigger man. Yeah. Then Arigon versus Casimiro. Well, Casimiro, it's a pity that that fight he should have had got cancelled. Because I really kind of enjoy watching the fight. I really kind of started liking him as a fighter. Well, a few years back already, but now especially he's had some really good successes when he stopped guys like Zolani, Tete in only 3 rounds, and he's also previously knocked out a guy who was unbeaten back then, a guy Rowan in only 4 rounds. So he's a formidable offensive fighter, but I fear that the inactivity may get to him, but I hope not. Hope they will soon find him another fight as soon as possible, because he doesn't want to go too long, right, without having another fight. Yeah. All right, and then what else did we have? Oh yeah, of course, Alexander Usyk. He beat, of course, Anthony Joshua. That was a pretty big upset because, especially the way he beat him. I didn't really expect him to beat him that way because I thought it would happen by only boxing and moving, outboxing Joshua, but he also outpunched Joshua, which was really amazing. He actually bullied him for, most of the fight, you might say, and especially at the end, where he almost had him like out. So nobody could have ever predicted that, I think. Maybe only the guys who really know a lot about Usyk, like his coach or whatever. But now they are supposed to have a rematch, but I don't think that's a good idea for Joshua because I think he simply got exposed, because there's a reason why he didn't fight guys like Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, and that's simply because he is not that good, really. He is not that good technically, and he, as we have seen, can be stopped also, even by guys who are not really thunderous punchers like Andy Reid. I mean, if Wilder landed, just one big shot, that would be it. I believe. He simply doesn't possess the chin and the fortitude and the inner strength of Tyson Fury, and he doesn't possess his boxing abilities, either technical abilities. So all he does have on Fury is the punching power, and that's all. Yeah, and even that punching power, sometimes, well, he definitely can punch, but when I watched Anthony Joshua for the first time, I remember in his first professional fight. I remember he was landing a lot of punches against some tomato can, and he wasn't stopped. I mean, I believe guys like you know Wilder or one of those guys who really can punch would have stopped that guy at once in the first round, but it took him 2 rounds to stop him. He's just punch, punch, punch. And that made me wonder about his power. But then he started knocking out guys. But I think that's because, alright, that was his first fight and all that. But I don't think for one thing, he doesn't hit as hard as Wilder, definitely. Joshua. So he's not that amazing kind of puncher who can just knock you out with his little finger almost. No, he's not that kind. No. And you cannot really find many instances where he really knocked out a guy with one punch. First he usually, you know, hurt them with several big punches and then finished them off with the one big punch. So yeah, simply doesn't have that sort of power because if he did, maybe he would have a chance against Usyk, but he did land a few punches in that fight, but Usyk was simply not rattled. He didn't look hurt. God, he's got an amazing chin. Yeah, so what else? Just Josh Warrington. You know what? I should have actually done it. I should have made it as a live video, but then nobody would have watched it, I believe. Or too few people. Alright, I just want to find out about Josh Warrington because he has gone through a really big change in his career lately. Yeah, that was this year when he lost to Mauricio Lara. That's right, in February 13th. Wow, that was really wow. A big upset, I would say, because Lara was, pretty much unknown. And yeah, it simply was the wrong opponent for Warrington because he has no power to speak of, and you know he simply is not a puncher, but a guy who just wins by pressure, applying pressure, wearing his opponents out, and sometimes he can stop them late or something. But usually he just wears them out and they just capitulate and he wins on points. So that's basically what he does. He cannot really, he doesn't go backwards. He just goes forward. He doesn't really defend himself much. He doesn't box much. So when he met a guy here who can really bang, who is a classical tough Mexican warrior. And what happened? Of course, he got taken out in the end. He showed great bravery and toughness, but he was, stopped in the ninth round. And then, of course, unfortunately, in the rematch, which was on September 4th, there was a cut from a headbutt, an accidental headbutt, and that ruined all chances. But he was again, he was starting to get hit all over again. He was hurt by already in those 2 rounds, I thought, for Warrington. So I don't think his people should seek a third fight. They should just leave it be. They were actually lucky to escape with that technical, draw, and that should be their lesson. Simply, not try to you know have revenge over people who simply have your number. Who you cannot get your revenge over, really. I mean, maybe if he had the help of judges, if he could have lasted till the end, maybe if he put on his greatest performance, maybe he could have somehow won. But that's a lot of maybe, a lot of ifs. Yeah. So you know what? I think I'm going to turn this into a live video anyway. Thank you anyway for watching this. Bye bye.